What's up, guys? My name is Sam, Live Production Tips and Tools, and welcome to my channel. Today we are live and we're gonna be talking about church live streaming. If you are here, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know where you're watching from. Say hello. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a very wonderful Thanksgiving if you are in the States, in the US. And at the same time, I hope you are enjoying today's Black Friday. So if you like shopping, you probably want to go to some your favorite websites, either it's Amazon, eBay, or some local stores for Black Friday, and you're gonna get some deals for especially if you want to buy some cameras, if you want to buy some tech gear for your live streaming for your church. This is the day to buy. We got Champ Media UK joining live. No Thanksgiving. I know. I think Thanksgiving yesterday was in the US. So even for Canada, we didn't have Thanksgiving. So, but you know, if you're watching from the States, then happy Thanksgiving. Well, it was yesterday, but today is Black Friday. So if you want to shop again some amazing gear, make sure you go to your favorite store. Or go to Amazon or eBay or any other website that where you buy stuff from. You may get some deals on cameras and stuff like that for your live streaming. All right, thank you guys. Thanks Champ Media UK, my friend. Thanks for joining today. So today we're gonna be talking about live sound for churches. Today's live stream is gonna be dedicated for churches. And actually, I want to reference a small portion of the video that I did the time I visited Lakewood Church, because I want to inspire you. Myself, I got inspired, and I want us to kind of take a reference to what they're doing. I know it's a big church, and not everybody can afford what they have as far as gear is concerned, but you can copy the same concept, actually apply it to your small or medium sized church, right? So I'm gonna play a small clip from the video that shows the audio part, just to show you how they how they deal with their audio. And then after that, obviously, I'm gonna talk, give you my thoughts, and we're gonna go straight to the point and talk about, what you should do, how many mixers you should have, what kind of mixers maybe you should look into, or what kind of mixers you're using now. Are they good? And do you like them, or is it time to upgrade or change them? We're gonna talk about all that in this live stream. So feel comfortable, grab some popcorn, and let's have fun. So we're gonna go straight. Again, if you're here for the first time, my name is Sam, Live Production Tips and Tools, and on this channel we talk about live streaming and video recording for churches, content creators, and anyone else who would want to get into video recording and live streaming. So let's not take much time. If you're here, let me know that you're here. Put in the comment and let me know how you're doing, where you're watching from, and we're gonna go straight to the content. So basically, I'm gonna be playing a small portion of the Lakewood Church video that I made. Just shows you how they deal with their audio, and then we're gonna talk. And that's how it's done. So let's remember, when we are watching on TV, we are not only watching the image, we are also hearing the audio. So this brings us to the audio part. As per our conversation with one of the engineers, the stage mics, the musicians, audience mics, the choir, the pastor, and everything audio makes 162 channels. That's a lot of channels to process. So they take all the channels from the room and they split them 3 ways. One way goes to the front of house mixing console. which is the main mixing console that is located in the main media booth that you can see in the center of the venue. So the other part is sent to the guy mixing for in-ear monitors for musicians, the band, the choir, or anyone on stage. This guy is seated in a separate room. He's actually a little bit in the room backstage, as I was able to actually see it and see him. And the third part is actually sent to the guy mixing for online broadcast, or YouTube or Facebook Live. So basically that's the sound that we hear every time if you watch Lakewood Church online on YouTube or Facebook Live. This is the guy mixing for us.
Yeah, so this is the main
This is
audio.
okay.
Welcome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So you guys mix for the live broadcast?
Yes, exactly. So live broadcast, anything they hear like on the radio, the website, Facebook, YouTube comes from us.
Nice.
Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, it's cool. That's a huge mixing board.
Yes. It is a hefty board. Euphonics 5B. We are mixing 162 channels.
162 coming from down there.
Coming from, yeah.
So that's what? The band?
That's band, audience mics, effects, singers, BGBs,
Okay.
worship leaders, plenty of ambient mics. We do like to capture the sound of the room, so we have 16 mics laid out throughout the auditorium, plus a couple on stage, just to get the feel of the band. Yeah, it's quite a lot, right? But it's fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. So, okay, these are your monitors.
Yeah, so we have a pair of NS10s that we're running. Some Genelecs off to the side just as reference, but we mainly mix off of these NS10s.
Okay, so why is it important for you to have the multi-view over there, the monitor?
Well, since we are 5 floors away, and I'm not entirely sure who's on stage, having the multi-view helps me mix to what people are seeing online. Since I am mixing for my final listener is somebody online.
Okay.
Me being able to see it, I
Okay.
can mix to what's on screens.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Okay.
Welcome.
Cool. Thanks. So what about him?
This is our legend. His name's Craig.
I'm
Nice.
just recording everything.
He has
Oh,
the
you-
most important part of. He has the most important job, and that is to make sure that every single channel gets recorded. We do multi-track every single service,
Okay.
and we're able to then go back and edit the service or edit past the sermon. So he is a legend.
So are you guys going to publish after like a clean version of the service afterwards?
Right,
Or
a remixed version. So we will take out, depending on what's going on during the audience mics, we just really clean it up.
so what we see on TV on Sunday, it's not the same thing as what we're gonna see like a week after.
Like
Exactly.
on YouTube or
Yeah, on YouTube. So after live stream, you kinda kill it and then upload a new, better version.
Exactly. Yeah, so we'll tweak out mistakes and recut. I think video-wise, maybe Uzi can speak on this. I think we recut all of past the sermon. We remix it just to make it sound prettier.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the last part is gonna be the lighting part. All right. So, you guys just let me take off these headphones. I don't think I'm gonna need them anymore. Anyways, you guys just seen how Lakewood, how they deal with their audio. So before I make comments about Lakewood audio setup and everything, have few points I want to go through, especially as especially if you are either you're starting out or you already have a setup. I'm assuming people have already some sort of setups in their churches right now. Okay, but when dealing with audio, there are few things that you kind of have to keep in mind. The first thing is, what is the size of your audience? Now, depending on the size of your audience, it's gonna be different. The size of your audience is going to determine how big or the kind of mixer that you need. Obviously, to be able to deal with how many channels you need, how many instruments that you have, how many musicians you have, a band, do you sing solo, like the size of your audience, the amount of the amount of instruments that you have to plug into your mixer, and obviously the output that you want to get. Obviously, it's not the mixers that are giving the output, it's mostly the speakers, your PA system. But at the same time, you need a mixer that can handle all the inputs and everything. Again, depending on your audience, the audience that you have, the size of your band, and how much of input and output you want to get from the mixer. So again, depending on your the size of your audience, it may actually also determine the amount of money that you want to spend on your mixer. Because if you have, let's say your church has 50 members, I'm assuming it's gonna be probably hard to afford a 10,000 mixing console. That's just common sense, right? But if you have like let's say 300 people, 3, 4, 500 people, even 150 people in your church, then you understand you kind of have to invest in your sound, in your live sound, and probably your online sound, which is something that we're going to talk about later, right? So the size of your audience is going to determine what kind of mixer that you need for your sound. Obviously, today we're only talking about mixer. Maybe another day we're gonna talk about PA systems and stuff like that, but not today. Second thing, how much money or how much you want to invest in your online. Okay, that's a different audience. Now we just talked about your room, your physical audience, which is like the people in the room. Now, how much do you want to invest in your online audience? Do you even need to have an online audience, or you just want to live stream for the people in your church who cannot attend your service? Because there are two different things. There's one thing. There is if you want to just focus on your people that you have within your audience, within your church, and maybe live stream sometimes for the people who cannot attend, who they say people are sick, or maybe they had work and they can't make it to church, and you want to live stream for them. That's different from live streaming because you want to reach the world. You want to reach people who don't go to your church, who don't know about you, and you just want to reach anybody, like anybody, everybody, or maybe people who don't know Christ, who don't know Jesus, and you want to reach those people using your online ministry. So that's something that I feel like many people don't understand. I feel like it's something that need to be understood, especially if you want to invest in live streaming, okay, as a church. Now, today is not about live streaming. Today is about sound, okay? So, but to be able to live stream, you need the image, lighting, and everything, but you need sound too. So that's why the second point is how much you want to invest in your online presence. If you want to reach people who don't know you, who don't know about your church, who don't know Christ, you probably want to invest much into your online presence because you want to reach new people. You want to bring new people to you or to Christ. However, if you want to reach people within your congregation who cannot come to church because of some reasons, let's say they are sick or they have some other problems, then that's a different issue, right? So that's why I wanted you guys to understand and actually know how much do you want to invest in your online presence. Now, if you want to, depending on how much you want to invest in your online presence, depending on who you want to reach, it's going to determine how much you want to invest in your broadcast sound. What kind of, do you need a mixer? Do you need a separate mixer for that? Do you need, so those things that we're going to be talking about. Now, point number 3, who are you streaming for? Which is what I just said. Who are you streaming for? Are you streaming for people who cannot, within your congregation, who cannot attend your church? Or you are streaming for the entire world to see you, people who don't know you, people who don't know Christ? Who are you streaming for? That's a factor. That's a fact. It's going to determine what kind of mixer or how much you are going to invest in your sound for your online broadcast. Now, point number 4 is, how many mixers now do you need? Okay, which is the title of this live stream. How many mixers that do you need? Now, knowing the size of your audience, knowing how much you want to invest, how much, it could be how much effort, how much money, how many people, volunteers you need to invest in your online, how much labor, let me maybe say it that way, how much labor that you need to invest in your online presence, and then knowing who you are streaming for. Now, how many mixers or how many sound consoles that you need for you to be able to deliver what you want, to be able to accomplish your mission for your online presence, and be able to actually accomplish your mission for your in-house, for the people in the room, your congregation, your physical congregation. So that's the title of this video, and that's what we're gonna be talking about. Looking and watching the video from Lakewood Church, you can see that they use 3 mixers. Now, the first mixer obviously is gonna be your front of house, the mixer for the people in the room. They have the mixer. It's a huge mixer, so I'm not saying you should have exactly that one, okay? And that's, I think, it's not, actually, it's not, I think. I know that many of you guys, all of the churches, all churches now, they have that front of house mixer. That's the first one. That's the one we start with. That's the one everybody starts with. It's the front of house mixer, the one you have in your room. You have a sound engineer. That's like everybody starting a church has that mixer, right? Now, with an engineer, somebody, on sound, all the instruments plugged in and everything working, no problem, okay? Now, if you see the video, they have a second mixer, which is the in-ear monitors or monitors mixer or sound console, which is basically to be able to help people on stage. Now, this is very subjective. Do I recommend this thing, this mixer? I'll say yes. I'll say yes. I don't care how big or small your church is, but maybe if you have 50 people, let's not talk about the size of your congregation. Maybe let's go with how many inputs you have. Now, if you have a digital console and even analog, doesn't matter, okay? Maybe you have 10 to 15 inputs available on your mixer, and all the inputs work, no problem. Then you have some aux going out for the people on stage for monitors. Either they have in-ear monitors, or they have normal speakers like floor monitors. It's gonna be okay if it works for you. But if you get to a point where you feel like musicians are starting to complain, because musicians sometimes they need to have their own mix. Now, if you're using analog, it's going to be super hard. Analog mixer, it makes it so hard to be able to send custom mixes. The reason why, if you're a beginner to sound, basically is, if I'm a drummer, I need to hear my drums when I'm playing on stage. I need to hear more of my drums, maybe hear the worship leader a little more, maybe hear, like, I have my own mix that I need to have. Now, if you have flow monitors, it's gonna be hard for every musician and musician, singers, worship leaders, like everybody on stage to be able to hear themselves, because they are sharing one or two mixes, and not everybody wants to hear the, I don't know, the soprano singer, or not everybody wants to hear that. Oh, the solo guitar going crazy, going nuts on the solo guitar. Not everybody wants to hear that that loud. But him, the person playing that guitar, needs to hear himself very, very loud. So that's why it would be great for them to have their own mixer, their own mix, right? Where he can, add a little bit of more of his guitar and have less maybe vocalist and a little more of drums, the way he wants it, right? Now, if you've been doing sound, you probably understand what I'm trying to say. Now, and if you're using analog mix and flow monitors, I would say, I don't care how small or big your church is, think about upgrading to a digital mixer. Now, a digital mixer is going to help you find a way to create custom mixes for people on stage, right? So everybody can have, again, I'm not going to go into details, but digital mixers are more friendly in terms of creating custom mixes for people on stage. In that case, another thing that I did not mention, if you use flow monitors, depending on how big is your room, there's a problem that most of sound people have, is that the stage is not quiet, and then you hearing people in the congregation, they get to hear the sound from the main speakers, the PA system, and they get to hear the sound from the flow monitors, and that becomes a problem. That's why you see, even if you use acoustic drums, you can see that people, we tend to put a cage on them, because we want to block that sound coming from the church. I don't know if you have been there, but I have been there, where our sound person was struggling because he was trying to mix the sound coming from the PA, the main PA, and then he had some flow monitors so throwing sound as well, and then it was so hard to control the sound. The sound was all over the place, and it was so hard, and people were complaining, sound is bad, sound is bad. Why? Because he doesn't have, or they don't have control over sound, right? So that's why having, the first step is having in-ear monitors is going to help you. Okay, now if you have in-ear monitors with the digital mixer, that's gonna be fantastic, because the digital mixer is going to help you actually create custom mixes for the people on stage. Now, you as if you can keep your stage as quiet as possible, then that's gonna help the person mixing for the front of house or the main mixing board. Is gonna help them actually mix and give the best sound for the audience or for your congregation. Okay, so that's number one. So do we need a front of house mixer? Obviously, we already have it. I'm assuming everybody has it. Okay, that's not even a question. Okay, that's the first mixer we all buy. Now, the second one is going to be your monitors mixer. Now, is it needed? I just talked about the in-ear monitors. Now, depending on how many musicians that you have, how many you're probably gonna have the vocalist, the worship leader. You may want, if you see that it's becoming too much to manage, because remember, you have one person managing the front of house and managing the mixes for each musician, right, on stage. Okay, now there's some system that you can use to be able to actually, depending on the mix they're using, to be able to give them their own let's say like an iPad or an iPhone, and they'll be able to actually select, create their own mixes, no problem. Okay, that's something maybe I can talk about another day in a different video, but that's possible too. But if you think it's getting too complicated, And sometimes musicians don't even have time to kind of go through, something goes wrong to go, if you're playing instruments and something goes wrong, you don't have time to go to your iPad and start adjusting and stuff like that. And that's where having a second dedicated mixer with an engineer for monitors comes in place. That's where you need a second mixer, and maybe have somebody in a room. Doesn't have to be in the same room as the front of house mixing guy. Can be somewhere in your church, in a corner or by the stage somewhere. And then that person is going to be dedicated to just mix for your band, okay? Just for the band, and like whatever is on stage. Now you're gonna have you're gonna find a way to kind of split your signals. So if you have a snake, whatever, just get like a snake splitter or something to be able to split your outputs two ways. So like every input two ways. So one going to your main mixing console, another one going to your monitors console. Now, this is something that I've seen. I've seen actually, if you get to do events for this big artists, they're gonna require you to have two mixers for sure, guarantee. 2 years ago, I produced Travis Green's concert, and that's what we're using. We're using two M32 Midas M32. So there was one for front of house, an engineer for that, and we had another engineer by the stage mixing just for the musicians and the vocalists. Like everything on stage, that person was in charge of mixing for that. Because it's a lot of work. At the end of the day, sometimes it becomes a stress for the person mixing for front of house. If they have to deal with the in ears as well, it becomes a problem. Sometimes it's hard. You see, sound engineers are kind of frustrated in your sound check, and you're running everywhere because you're trying to please musicians. At the same time, you're trying to please to make a good mix for the congregation. It becomes a problem. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly the same mixer. It could be a small, it could even be a small analog mixer maybe, or a small digital mixer that doesn't have to cost you a lot of money, and you're gonna be able to create a custom mix and make sure everybody on stage is happy, right? Now, that I would say it's very optional depending on the size of your audience and the size of your congregation and all that. But now we are going to the next part, or the next mixer that's needed. Very, very important for your online broadcast mix. Okay, so this is very, very important. Again, I say depending on how much you want to invest in your online presence. So now, if you want to live stream just for the people who cannot attend your church service because they are sick, but they are already your church members, maybe that's different. Maybe you don't want to invest that much. But if you live streaming and you want to reach more people using online tools, online platforms, then I'll say you need to invest. Actually, let me say this. You think I'm crazy. You need to invest more than what you have invested in your room sound. I'm not saying more money, I say more. Okay? So more, what I mean is, it could be more money, except you're not gonna need a PA system, right? But the thing is, what we don't get right is the fact that people online and online experience is a completely different experience. We think sometimes that we can just plug in a mixer and then have two outputs, which most of us have done. Most of us are guilty of that. Okay. But we think that it's just get two outputs, your main left and right coming from a mixer, and then send it to your ATM Mini or ATM Mini Extreme ISO, whatever software you're using to live stream, and then boom, you're good. No, that's wrong, because when you listen to that sound, most of the time it's dry. It has no life. Why? Because the sound that you have in a room is the room is different. The way the room responds to your PA system adds some amplification to the sound, so people in the room have a good experience because of the environment. Now, the online environment is a completely different story. Why? Because people are listening through their speakerphones, uh, through their cars, in their cars. Some people are listening using just the normal headphones from you get from your iPhone, like, or maybe people are using some normal studio headphones like this, what I was using. So like people are using different devices to get that sound. So that's why you need to master that sound for online. And the compression is not the same. So that's where the online mixer actually is more needed. I would say your priority should be your front of house. Then after front of house mixer, you should go to online mixer. And your online mixer should be as powerful or more powerful, obviously, in terms of like delivering the best online experience. I'm not saying it should cost you more money. No, what I'm saying, you should invest in it, take care of it, think about it as a tool that's going to help you reach more people, right? So your online audience, if you want to be serious, about your online broadcast, you need your online mixer to be able to deliver a good sound. Now, you need your online mixer, plus you need your online engineer. Okay? This is no joke, guys. You need an engineer for your online broadcast. And people, I think we tend to ignore it because it's like, yeah, who cares? No big deal. We're just gonna send whatever we have in the room, and then it's gonna be good. But no, because if you have 300 subscribers on your channel, or you have 1,000 subscribers on your channel, or you have maybe, let's say, 10 people who tune in, or 20 people who tune in every Sunday to watch your service, those people are as important as the 10 people you have in the room. And they deserve a good experience. Now, how is your online presence is going to grow if the 10 people that God has given to you are not taken care of? And your sound is like 75% of the online experience comes from the sound. Okay, maybe that's a little too much. Let's say 60% comes from the sound. 20% or 30% comes from your lighting, and 10% comes from the cameras, guys. 10%. I'll give 10% to your cameras, because I don't care if you have the best camera. If your lighting is bad, it's not gonna look good. If you have bad audio and your cameras and lighting is on point, people are going to leave. That's why people listen to Spotify or Apple Music or iTunes, because the audio is powerful. Some people watch your online service while driving. So basically, they would just put the video on, maybe hide the phone because you don't want to be driving and watching the service at the same time. But they consume the audio part, right? Because audio is very important. The audio is a new thing now. So the more you invest in your online audio or broadcast mix, the more people you are going to reach. That's a tool to reach more people, if that's your mission. Now, do you need a third mixer for that? Yes, you do. And you need a very good mixer. Now, there are other solutions out there that you can use. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to get a physical mixer. So that's something that we are going to talk about. Now, how many mixers you have? You watch Lakewood Church. Lakewood Church uses 3 mixers. Do you need to have the same thing? Probably not. But you should have something similar to that, which is maybe, I would say, for 20, we are going to 2022. I would say if you are still using analog mixer, think about upgrading to digital mixer. Now, if you have a digital mixer, now digital mixers are kind of affordable. You can find a cheap X32 for under $2,000, maybe. Not sure, but yeah, I guess. Now, if you have a digital mixer, you can, I'm going to give you some suggestions. You can use, which I think a lot of people are doing now. You can use, if you buy like a cheap X32, Behringer X32, you can use that mixer um, to send all the channels to a computer, right? And that computer can be used as a mixer for your online mixing needs. So basically, that's the beauty of having digital mixer. You can send all the channels and use, I would suggest get something like the Mac Mini, the new M1 Mac Mini. That's the job. Get like something like Logic Pro, which is a software from Apple, very affordable. Then install to your Mac Mini. Have somebody dedicated to mixing for your online. Have a separate room, please. People tend to neglect this. It's very important. Have a different separate room. It could be in a basement, it could be somewhere in your church, okay? Have somebody, have a monitor, a small workstation, get them headphones that can block any sound coming from outside, because those people, they need to focus and actually get to create a mix, okay, that people watching online are going to listen to. So it's important that they get isolated from the outside sound, right? So get them to a different room and then, let them mix, create a mix every Sunday. Make it serious, guys. I know, because we tend to be like, yeah, we got the front of house guys doing the sound and everything, and the online, we just plug in a cable and then send to the ATM mini, to the switcher or to OBS, and then we're good to go. We forget about it. Sometimes the pastor goes to stage to preach, the mic is a little mute or something, there's a dead there. We don't care about the people watching online. But that experience that you're giving to the people online is very important if you want to reach more people. Why do you think you see some churches who are really, really serious about online? You see they're reaching their YouTube channels, their social medias are growing. Why? It's because they have taken it serious. They have invested money into it. They have invested effort and energy and resources they took it very serious, right? That's why you see they're growing every day. They're growing their social medias. They take time to design some graphics and post on social media. They also try to understand how platforms work. Make sure you work on your thumbnail, work on your titles, the way you title your videos when you post them on YouTube. Title them in a way that somebody who doesn't know you, when they see your video or they see your live stream, they be intrigued to watch, right? So that's basically for your online mixer. Is it needed? Yes, you can get a physical mixer if you can afford it, but if you cannot afford it, get a computer and use the software. It's doable. You can either use a normal mixer, digital mixer, and then for the person to have some physical faders to play with, and at the same time have a software that will kind of work together. That will work too. Now, if you don't have money, you can just use a computer, send all the channels from your main mixer or from the stage box, send all the channels and get to mix for online mixing, for online broadcast only. So that's my take on the mixing, on the online mixing. Now, I would say how many mixer you need to answer the question about today's stream. I would say you need 3 mixers, obviously. Again, depending on the size of your audience or the size of your band, but I would say mainly you need 3 mixers, regardless of how big or how small you are. Target for 3 mixers, because you're creating mixes for 3 different people: your stage, your PA or your front of house, and your online people, or your online mix, right? Now, is there any way or cheaper way around that? Yes. If you're not there yet, you can always use a physical mixer for your front of house, and then use maybe a small cheap mixer for your stage, or Maybe if you don't have a big band or a big many inputs for your stage, maybe you still use the front of house mixer to kind of control your monitors, right? Again, depending on the size of your audience. If you want to grow, please keep in mind that eventually you are going to need that mixer. Think about it. Put in the budget. You don't have to get it right away. You can put in the budget for your next 2 or 3 years, or for your next 1 or 2 years. Be like, we need somebody. First of all, we need an engineer. We need to train somebody who's going to work on that mix for our stage. Get it in ears again. Make sure your stage is quiet to avoid, to give the people in the room a good experience. Third, very, very important, your online presence. If you want to reach new people for your online presence, again, you're gonna need to invest in a good mixing board for your online people, and get a good engineer for your online. Get some presets, some dope presets. Make sure your drums sound good. I think one day we're gonna talk about online mixes. I need to get somebody, some sort of engineer who can maybe teach and show us how to mix for online broadcast. But you need to get your drums, your bass, everything well compressed, your music, make sure like people when are watching you online, they're enjoying the music, and at the same time there's no distraction. The vocals are coming in, they're tuned, okay? Don't sing, don't let people hear some off pitch singers and vocalists. Please, there's a way to tune it live. And it's not expensive, guys. That's why I say every time I tell people, invest in your skills, okay? Because you don't have to spend a lot of money to actually create good stuff. Especially in 2022 or 2021, technology now is affordable. The only thing we need is to invest more in ourselves, in our skills. So looks like time is going, but I hope I answered this question. Again, if you want some recommendations for mixers, I would say one of the cheapest yet still like a good mixer is the Behringer X32. Okay, it has 32 channels. I say X32. It's one of the best yet affordable mixers that you can use, which is a digital mixer. Also, if you have a little bit of more money, you can think of the Midas, which is the M32, right? Midas M32. It's a little more expensive, but it has many. I think it's close to the Behringer X32, but I think it's a little better, right? It's a little better, so it's gonna give you many more features. Those are two mixers that I can suggest for medium, small churches. And if you can always have one and build your mixer, your online broadcast mix using a software. So using a computer, then use it to control your people on stage. Maybe give them some iPads to create their own mixes. But keep thinking of upgrading, getting a second one or getting a smaller one for your people on stage. And then even if you keep the online mix, I think Bethel doesn't even use a physical mixer for their online broadcast, right? So it's possible to do everything using a software as long as you have a nice software and you know how to use it. So even if it's not a physical mixer, but it's a mixer, but have an engineer, have somebody dedicated for that. Don't have one person running everywhere trying to do everything. So guys, this concludes this session about church live streaming and sound in general, for sound broadcast and front of house, whatever inside the room sound, video or live stream. So if you have questions, let me know. If you're watching on the replay, thank you and welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Other than that, let me take a look at the chat. See. We got Victor here. Victor, what causes... Oh boy. Okay, what causes humming sound? So that's gonna be so many different reasons. Victor, thank you for joining. Let me just give me a second. Just need to take a look a little bit at something. Guys, let me know if you're watching and where you're watching from. If you have questions, make sure you put them in the chat before I go, because I'm gonna be ending the stream in a few minutes, in 10 minutes actually. Yeah, so Victor is saying what causes the humming sound. So basically, the first thing I'll look into, it will be cables. Most of the time, it's gonna be cables, man. Check your cables. That's the most common thing. It could be, or some connections. If you try to connect something to, let's say, an input that was not supposed to be an input, was supposed to be something else, but most of the time it's gonna be on your connections. Okay, so make sure your connections are clean, very clean. Another thing is, try to use DI boxes depending on the cables that you're using. I don't know if you guys know about DI boxes. So if you using, let's say, I don't know if you know about unbalanced and balanced cables, right? So if you're using an unbalanced cables, it's basically an unbalanced cable will look like, you see, like the guitar cable, the cable I use on your guitar, or on your piano, stuff like that, your keyboard. Those are unbalanced. Now you want to avoid using long unbalanced cables that could cause some crazy sound as well, some humming sound. Another thing I'll say, so if you use a DI box, I say for example, you got your unbalanced cable, plug into a DI, a small box, and then your DI box is gonna have an XLR. So XLR are balanced cables basically, and then XLR is going to send the signal to the mixer. That's gonna be a clean sound, and you should not have any problem. So you could use that. Try to use that for most of your instruments, especially those who do not have XLR outputs. So it's very, very important to keep your setup clean. All right. So that's that. Other than that, I don't know if you guys have questions, but I appreciate you being here. See, Victor is here. I don't know if Champ, my friend Champ Sammy, is still here. Welcome. I see a few people watching. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know if you have questions about church sound. But guys, this is very, very serious, and I feel like a lot of people don't get it. It's really important to understand how much, again, depending on how much you want to invest in your online, how many people you want to reach. If you want to grow, a lot of people want to grow their church YouTube channels or their social media, but they keep posting same thing over and over, which is our church service, and the title of your church service, maybe your thumbnail is gonna be maybe a screenshot of your pastor preaching, and then you put the name of your church, to say my church name, and then online service, and you put the date, which is something that I have done before. Okay, I'm guilty too. I have done that before. But if I was part of a church or a ministry, and I wanted to grow my social media or my YouTube channel, I'll try to avoid creating content for the people that I have already, and assuming that that content is going to reach many people, many other people outside of my congregation. That's just that, guys. Like, it's not gonna work. So it's important to understand the experience that you're giving to the person who's going to meet you for the first time, whom YouTube is going to show your thumbnail or your church service or your church videos for the first time, what they are going to see, and then what they are going to listen to the time they decide to click on your video. What kind of experience you are giving to them. Again, the very first thing they want to get some good audio. very important. Your sound is very, very important. Again, I'll say about 60% of the video that you're producing for online, it's gonna be your sound. So your sound, it's important to take care of your sound. Get a separate, start training somebody. If you don't have someone now working on your online mix, start training someone. Put them aside. Tell them you're going to be in charge of the online mix. Train them, teach them everything. Have them seated somewhere separate from your main sanctuary, and then have them mix. Create a mix. Learn how to mix. Don't have to use a physical mixer. They can use a software. Use that and create something. Now you can start from there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as they grow, they may become very good at that, and they will start creating good mixes for your online audience. So yeah, and then from there you can always you can work on your in ears and stuff like that. But that's, I would say, maybe that's the last kind of priority for that's what I would say. It doesn't mean you have to ignore them, but you kind of have to set some priorities, say for your online for your front of house first, online second, and third, your monitors. But meanwhile, the front of house, I'm not saying forget about the monitors, but the front of house can always manage the in ears for you while you wait to kind of get somebody dedicated for that. I would say that would be the last priority for me, right? So that's what I had to say today, guys. Again, thank you guys for joining. Looks like the chat is quiet. I appreciate for you being here. Again, if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. My name is Sam. Live production tips and tools. We talk about live streaming for churches, content creators, and businesses. Anyone who needs to live stream, really, we can help here on this channel. Other than that, we talk about cameras, camera gear, switchers, software that you need for you to be able to live stream. Again, I thank you guys for being here. All the people who are watching right now, I appreciate your time. Again, if you are in the US or Canada, I don't know, I'm not sure about UK, but today is Black Friday, so make sure you head to your favorite website where you shop. You're probably gonna find some deals on other gear, some tech gear, cameras. I'm actually gonna be I joined Amazon Live, so I'm gonna be live streaming on Amazon in few minutes as well, talking about some of the best deals on cameras. Always talking about Lumix cameras, by the way. So I'm gonna be talking about some cameras that I own, some lenses, some accessories, monitors, and stuff like that. So again, probably next time I'm gonna share the link if you wanna join me on Amazon Live. But other than that, again, I appreciate you guys for being here. My name is Sam. If there's no question, I'm gonna be ending the stream in few seconds. Today was a wonderful day talking about church and sound. So guys, make sure you hit like and you share this live stream to people whom you think may get something from it, may benefit from it. Make sure you hit share. But other than that, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. Make sure also let me know if you need me to cover some of the some topics that you would want me to cover. Let me know. Put in the chat, in the comment section. But other than that, I'm gonna see you guys on Monday at 11 a.m. I should be here live streaming, and hopefully, I will be here on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time. Yes, Canada time or US time. Anyways, Eastern Standard Time. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you and I thank you for watching today and joining me today on this live stream. I will see you next time. Take care.